Sure. So welcome committee members, liaisons, and members of the public to the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission's Bank Grants Committee meeting. Thank you for joining us. We're using Zoom today with the goal to foster a more inclusive environment and effective meeting. If you'd like to comment during the meeting, please use the raise hand feature. To use the raise hand feature, by phone, dial *9 on your phone's dial pad to raise your hand, and the same to lower your hand. Please utilize this tool to virtually indicate that you'd like to speak in order to help the chair facilitate the discussion. All Legal Services Trust Fund Commission and committee meetings will be recorded and posted on the State Bar website. A friendly reminder that this is a video conference and please be aware of your surroundings behind you. Also, Zoom captioning is available. To enable, select Live Transcript at the bottom of your Zoom screen and then select Enable Auto Transcription. A couple of troubleshooting tips to share. For those using Zoom on a computer, when on mute, holding down the spacebar will temporarily unmute you. If you use your phone to dial into this meeting, please be sure that your computer's microphone is on mute to avoid any audio feedback issues. And then while joining audio via computer is highly recommended. If an individual loses audio, you can call in separately using the Zoom conference number.
Thank you, Crystal. All right, Jennifer, if we can move on to roll call and you can announce whether there's any members of public present for comment.
Thanks, Tammy, will do. So to begin, Mahoney.
Here.
Ball.
Here.
Judge Klein.
Here.
Cruz is absent today, and Meeker.
Here.
Okay, so we have quorum. Now let's look for the liaisons. I believe I saw Zach Newman in the audience. Melanie Snyder.
I'm here.
And Laura Brown.
Here.
Wonderful. And now the State Bar staff, besides myself. Elizabeth, are you here? Okay. Chris McConkey.
Here.
Crystal Bundang.
Present.
Brady Dewar.
Here.
Kim Wormsley is here. And I wanted to introduce everyone to Rocio Avalos, who is rejoining the Office of Access and Inclusion as a program director. This is her first week back, so we wish her a warm welcome. Did I miss any staff or any liaisons?
No, would someone mind promoting Zach just in case he wants to participate on behalf of Selena Copeland?
Thanks, Chris. Okay. And are there any members of the public present who wish to make a comment?
There are no public members.
Great. Thank you, Shannon. And Shannon, I'm sorry, I totally forgot to mention that you were here. Thank you. Okay. So Tammy, would you like to discuss approval of the minutes?
Yeah, and thank you, Judge Klein, for joining. If there are no comments or corrections to the February 23rd, 2022 minutes, may I have a motion to approve?
I will make the motion to approve as presented.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jen. All right, Jennifer, if we can do a roll call.
Great. Ball.
Yes.
Judge Klein. Judge Klein. I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Yes.
Thank you. Cruz is absent. Meeker.
Yes.
And Mahoney.
Yes.
And just so it's clear, I wanted to note that we are following Rosenberg's rules of order, so we will vote in alphabetical order, except the chair will vote last. Okay, thank you, Tammy. We can move on to the next item.
Okay, to agenda item number 4, Bank Community Stabilization and Reinvestment Grants. I will pass that back to you, Jennifer, but we're going to take agenda items 4.1 and 4.2 out of order. So we'll start with 4.2, the 2023 bank grant application request for proposals.
Thanks, Tammy. Okay. So hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Zelnick. I'm the committee coordinator for bank grants. I'm a senior program analyst in the Office of Access and Inclusion, and today we'll be discussing the 2023 bank grants application RFP. As a note, we are not voting on the RFP today. This is a discussion to orient or reorient everyone to the bank grants. We will also use this discussion as an opportunity to ensure that staff and the committee are in agreement about the RFP and grant making priorities so that staff can best prepare the RFP and related materials for the July meeting. With that in mind, today's agenda is to briefly review the purpose of the Bank Grants Committee, then review the history of bank grants, then the 2019 RFP, and finally have a discussion about staff's suggestions for the 2023 RFP. The Bank Grants Committee is charged with administering funds received separately from the Bank of America and Citicorp for foreclosure prevention legal assistance and for community redevelopment legal assistance. The committee is charged with administering these funds for foreclosure prevention legal assistance and for community redevelopment legal assistance. The committee is responsible for setting all parameters around these funds, including the amount available for funding, the funding criteria and priorities, and grant period. The committee, these grants are discretionary, both in terms of the programs that receive funding, as well as the amounts of funding to be allocated to each successful applicant. Generally, the Bank Grants Committee strives to fund projects that collectively offer a range of services and geographic diversity of urban and rural regions in the state. The Bank Grants Committee will review and score proposals based upon a rubric approved in advance by the Commission. The Bank Grants Committee as a whole, along with staff, will calibrate these scores. Then a scoring team composed of staff and commissioners scores all applications and makes funding recommendations for their proposals to the committee. The Bank Grants Committee's recommendation is presented to the full commission, which will approve, reject, or modify the recommendations in its discretion. The commission's recommendation is presented to the Judicial Council, which has final authority to approve these grants. And please, if anyone has questions, feel free to interject at any time. Bank grants began in 2015 when the State Bar received over $6 million from Bank of America and Citibank as a result of bank settlements with the US Department of Justice Bank Community Stabilization and Reinvestment grant requests for proposals. On January 1st, 2016, the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission awarded $6 million in 2- and 3-year grants to 16 projects through an RFP process. Bank grants are broadly categorized as either community redevelopment projects or foreclosure prevention projects. In February 2016, the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission received an additional $44.8 million from Bank of America. Later that same month, the Commission awarded $2.8 million to 13 more projects through an RFP process. On April 16, 2016, the Commission released another $3 million to projects, once again through an RFP process, with project start dates in January 2017. Then from July 2016 to July 2017, the Commission awarded 74 organizations with 1-year planning grants, which were worth $10,000 each. On March 17, 2017, the Commission released approximately $28.5 million in 3-year grants with projects beginning in January 2018, this time via a hybrid RFP and formula grant process. And finally, on April 25th, 2019, the Commission released $6.5 million through an RFP process for 3-year projects to begin in January 2020. As a note, although the settlement agreement is quite lengthy, It doesn't actually provide significant guidance, nor did it outline a strict or expedient distribution timeframe. Additionally, while the bank grants was the first discretionary grant the Office of Access and Inclusion received besides partnerships, soon after, OA and I received a large influx of additional funding for other discretionary grants. And this is why these funds have been distributed over a somewhat longer time frame than other grants administered by our office. In total, the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission has awarded 214 bank grants, and excluding the 74 bank grants, that is 140 grants. This equals over $43.44 million. Most recently, the 2020 bank grants ended on December 31st, 2022. Currently, the State Bar has approximately $5.1 million in bank grant funds that will be distributed through the upcoming and final RFP. Staff suggests modeling the 2023 RFP and application off of the 2019 RFP. So let's review some details about that. The 2019 RFP outlined the funding parameters in terms of required components, such as requiring collaboration, and therefore a minimum of at least 2 organizations involved in the project, a demonstrated statewide or regional focus on service provisions, qualifying work, that is projects that are either foreclosure prevention or community redevelopment, and that the applicant is a State Bar funded qualified legal services project or a support center. The RFP also delineated funding caps based on the number of collaborations involved. 2 organizations could apply for up to $175,000 per year. 3 organizations could apply for up to $250,000 per year. 4 organizations could apply for up to $325,000 per year. And 5 or more organizations could apply for up to $400,000 per year. These numbers included the applicant. So in other words, 2 organizations meant an applicant as well as 1 collaboration or subgrant. Finally, the RFP outlined the 8 categories of selection criteria for proposals: demonstrated need of the targeted population, impact of services, deliverables within grant period, partnerships and collaborations, leverage and sustainability, organizational excellence, diversity of projects and services to rural areas. The 2019 application consisted of 5 main components. First, the project profile, which asked for high-level information about the project, such as county or counties served, collaborations and subgrants, annual amount requested, whether the project would be considered statewide or regional, whether the project would serve rural communities, and the project abstract. Next, the project description asked for more detailed information about the project, such as the project need, the target population, a description of the collaboration or collaborations, goals and deliverables, and strategies for outreach, access, and evaluation. The project budget asks how the program would spend project funds for the 3-year grant. The budget narrative asks for information about each line of the budget. And finally, the project assurances, which are pretty standard across State Bar grants. Staff's approach to the 2023 RFP and application, as mentioned earlier, is to work off of the 2019 RFP and application with a bit of refining. This will take 2 main forms: technical changes and the addition of a formalized scoring rubric. First, there will be technical changes such as formatting, streamlining the application, changing the duration of the grant to 1 year instead of 3, updating the federal poverty level to 200% to reflect the State Bar's 2023 poverty guidelines, and updating the medical service study areas, or MSSAs, to track rural and frontier communities based off of more current data. We may also propose different funding levels as well, and this would be in order to balance the different grant duration as well as the amount of funding available. As mentioned earlier, bank grants was the first discretionary grant that the Office of Access and Inclusion received besides partnerships. And at the time, the office did not institute a formalized scoring rubric. Now, our office employs a scoring rubric for all of its grants. This change therefore aligns with all of our other grant distributions and ensures that scoring is standardized as much as possible. It will also ensure that scoring follows the recommendations of the Discretionary Grants Working Group, which is presenting this codification topic to the Rules Committee in March. The scoring rubric will be modeled off of the most current rubrics for discretionary grants, such as the 2023 Partnership Grant, HP4 Supplementary Grant, Cal HFA, Law School Summer Fellowships, and Consumer Debt. It will include certain standard categories as outlined by the Discretionary Grants Working Group, such as project impact, administration, and evaluation, along with several categories that reflect bank grants funding requirements. And these may include categories such as partnerships and serving rural populations. Once again, at this time, staff are not presenting a resolution because we have not presented the RFP, scoring rubric, or similar. We will attend to these matters during our July meeting. Instead, we are simply presenting this information and informally asking if the committee supports the direction outlined in these slides for the 2020 RFP. And at this time, I'm happy to take questions or comments. Jim?
Yeah, a couple of questions. Since I've been on this committee for a while, are you guys going to come up with a more standardized definition of what community redevelopment is? Because in the past, that's been a lot of variability in what people consider as community redevelopment. In the early days, it was simpler because most of the stuff was on mortgage issues. But last time I scored stuff, it was primarily most of the grants for community redevelopment, and that was problematic. And the other issue is on the different grant ranges, depending upon how many partners they have. Is it required in the proposal that they actually fund this partner? Or can they have partners that they count as partners, increase their funding limit, but don't necessarily fund them?
Those are good questions. So I think we would work off of the definitions provided in the 2019 RFP, which does provide a pretty specific definition of community redevelopment legal assistance, as well as some examples. But of course, I think everyone is open to refining or retooling that definition as needed, especially if there's wisdom from past grants, past grant cycles and scoring problems that came up as a result. And then to your second question, I don't think the way the last grant was structured, that it was required for these partnerships to be sub-grants. And that's something that we could discuss again, if that's important to the committee. Did you have a preference, Jim or Tammy?
I think we could, as staff works through the RFP, I think we should put it up for consideration when we discuss it in July. Regarding the definition, Jim, I agree. It could be pretty broad. And as we work through refining this RFP, we'll see what we can do in terms of refining that a bit more to make it clear. I know I worked with Dan for a while on trying to figure out what it means. And I think Jeff knows in the banking industry, community development is extremely broad. So we will need to keep it narrow.
Yeah, I think Jim makes an excellent point, and I agree with Tammy and Jim's suggestion that we take a look at that definition. I think we should also give some consideration to the point that Jim made on the identification of the partners and making sure that you don't have any disadvantage just because somebody's part of a bigger group, but they're not intending to fund the whole group. Question that I had is that I believe you stated earlier, I just want to clarify the intention through this 2023 RFP and application is to disperse all the remaining monies?
That's correct. That is the intention.
Okay.
Other questions or comments?
I have one more on the issue of the rural. I know in the homeless prevention grants, rural was actually specified as a priority by the legislature.
Mhm.
But it's been a while since I've looked at the bank grant documentation, but I don't remember rural being stressed there. Is that my faulty memory?
No, I don't think it was stressed. I think there, in past RFPs, there was consideration for either statewide or regional services, and that was the way that those RFPs had structured preference. So we can think about whether we want to continue with that, whether we feel that that is the best way to think about this funding, or if we want to use other metrics such as rurality. And if, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to keep it in. I just didn't, I don't know if we had the authority to put something in that wasn't in the original legislative language creating the awards to begin with. But I personally would like to keep it in.
That's a great point, and that is something that staff will definitely be sure to check and confirm before we present the RFP. Do others have feelings about that category in particular?
Other than I agree, I think we should include it if allowed within that settlement agreement.
Great. Other questions or comments?
Okay. Thank you, Jennifer. Let's move on to agenda item 4.1, which is the bank grant committee calendar.
Great, thanks, Tammy. So thank you all again for your help coordinating these dates. And this slide shows the proposed 2023 committee meeting and grant making timeline. Some of these dates are now set, but a few are somewhat flexible. On July 28th, the committee will meet to approve the RFP, scoring rubric, and reporting requirements. On August 4, the 2023 bank grant RFP will be released, and on September 1st, applications are due. Then on September 11, the committee will meet to calibrate a sample of applications. That entails all commissioners and staff scoring a few applications ahead of the meeting date, sending their scores ahead of time to me, and then discussing scores during the meeting. The purpose of calibration is to help the scoring team with their task of scoring all applications equitably and with the committee's preferences in mind. And all of these dates that I've mentioned so far are set. Then from about September 12 to October 13, the scoring team will score all of the applications. These dates are somewhat flexible in order to accommodate the scoring team's schedules, but there isn't really much wiggle room to extend this timeline. And that is because on October 27, the committee will meet to approve awards and reporting requirements based on the scoring team's efforts. Subsequently, the commission will meet in November to approve. And then finally, on January 1st, 2024, the grant period begins. The committee should have received Outlook calendar invitations for the rest of the bank grant committee meetings. So please feel free to let me know either now or via email if you did not receive any of those invitations. So are there any questions about the calendar?
Jennifer, do we want to talk real quickly about the scoring committee?
Sure. So the scoring team will be composed of 2 State Bar staff members and 2 commissioners. And I believe, Tammy, you volunteered already to score?
I did.
Great.
And so did I.
Okay, great. So Tammy,
Thanks,
Jeff, thank you very much. Myself and another staff member will score. Any other questions about the calendar or scoring or anything else?
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. We'll move on to agenda item, well, 4.3, I believe that was pulled from the agenda and we're moving it to the later meeting. So we'll move on to 4.4, approving recommendations for any budget revisions or carryovers from the last RFP.
Madam,
Thanks.
Chair, I apologize. I have to leave for another meeting.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks, Jeff.
Well, thank you, Tammy. Actually, agenda item 4.4 is also canceled because we did not receive any such requests.
Right, very good. So we have the remaining 5.1. And we don't have any other agenda items, so I think we'll be able to give you back an hour and a half of your afternoon. I look forward to working with you all to get the remaining funds out into the community. If there are no further questions or further business before the committee, we will go ahead and adjourn. That was a quick one. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Tammy.
Jennifer, do you
Thanks.
want to stay on?
I don't think we can, Jim, but I'll